this time.
All right, thank you very much. I wanted to even ask the lessons that we can take from this incident to improve future budget processes, but we are due for break right now, and Newsweek continues in a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back. It is still Newsweek, where we highlight bigger stories that made the headlines recently. Insecurity was on the front burner this week as Kaduna-based Muslim cleric Sheik Gumi on Tuesday sought the government permission to approach and have talks with bandits who abducted about 287 school children from Kuriga Government Secondary School and LEA primary schools in the Chinku local government area of the state. The Islamic cleric insisted that dialogue was the way to go, calling on President Bola Tinubu to take a different approach from his predecessors, Mohamed Buhari, who rejected the dialogue. I have joining me to discuss this, Chidi Omeje, editor, Security Digestive via Zoom. Good evening, Mr. Omeje.
Good morning, good evening, and thanks for having me. It's actually Security Digest.
All right. Critics have actually argued that dialogue with bandits may condone their actions or grant them impunity. Where has negotiation worked effectively in similar situation, Mr. Major?
It's not a best practice to actually dialogue with terrorists or bandits, those who hold the state captive. It's not the ideal thing. But we always say that it's best not to allow it to happen in the first place, because the moment they're able to carry out their actions, you will put in a very awkward situation. You put in a very awkward position that at the end of the day you may have no option than to even negotiate, because you have in their hands probably children or women or your citizens, and you ultimately would like to have those people released, and you at the end of the day don't have options as a matter of fact. So I'm trying to say that it's not always the best thing to dialogue or even to pay ransom, because in so doing you are more or less motivating them, more or less fortifying them, arming them to carry more sort of attacks in the future. So the best thing is to make sure that we don't create a situation where they are able to carry out their threats or able to carry out their crime. So, you asked the question whether the present government should toe the line of the previous government. I do not know exactly what the previous government stood for. I don't remember them as a government that gloried inaction. So I don't know where to place them, because you can't say they negotiated or they didn't negotiate. They just allow things to get awry. So I am advising this present government to make sure that they don't allow this kind of situation to happen in the first place, because the moment it happens, they will put in a very awkward situation. It is not conventional to negotiate and even pay ransom to terrorists, but at the same time, you have the obligation to release the abductees, the victims in their captivity. So that is like a catch-22 situation, as far as I'm concerned. That's my initial response.
All right. While we hope and pray for the release of these children, let's talk about the safety protocols that should be implemented in schools and other vulnerable areas to prevent attacks by this bandit. Mr. Major.
Yeah, when the Chibok thing happened, and that was actually the first time this mass abduction or something in Nigeria, when it happened in 2014, after the initial shock, there was a global response to it. And that was when, they said they were going to put in place what they call Safe School Initiative. And of course, Nigeria adopted it. Nigeria, keyed into it. And I think we made some commitment, almost about $10 million to set off the program, to actualize the initiative. The initiative was to secure, the schools, put down some physical structures, probably like walls and, wire barbings and stuff, and probably to put boots on ground to watch over our school system. And then, of course, I think the civil defense, it was who we are, meant to carry out that, to deepen that process. And as far as you and I know, that initiative has been a failure, or rather, it has been ineffective, because since that 2014, we've had mass attack in Dapchi, we have in Kagara, we have in Kankara, we have in, of course, we now have this one in Kuntiga, or whatever they describe it, and it keeps happening. So it means that the initiative is not working. The initiative needs to be reappraised.
Okay.
The government needs to think out beyond that particular initiative to find out what we can do within our own milieu here to save the situation.
All right, Aki, let me bring you in here. Considering the fact that these bandits are demanding ransom with deadline, how do you think we can achieve or improve a peaceful resolution, or get a peaceful resolution to get rid of this crisis?
Jacinta, it comes a time when you speak to elders, or they say, an elder will always tell you predictable outcomes. What we are attempting here, what Nigeria has been attempting, are just cosmetics. We're not getting to the roots of the problem. The root of the problem is that Nigeria has become ungovernable. Nigeria, over the years, has planted TARS, T-A-R-E-S, and they cannot, and we cannot collectively be thinking of how to harbor mangoes. Things have gone so bad that we begin to now ask ourselves, like the Nebuchadnezzar wall, this wall has fallen. Let's accept the wall has fallen, and then begin a process of wanting to rebuild. First, that needs to happen in terms of the protocol. And Jacinta, I wonder if you saw the images at Kajuru, where these pupils.
It's a scary one.
No roofs, no touch. So who is fooling who? What kind of education are we even talking about there? So we don't even have what I can call functional education to help us. That's the first one. Second, is the fact that even in areas that are having semblance of life, one of the protocols that should happen is you do what you call PAERO. PAERO is Public Affairs Response System, emergency response. That if this happens, this is what you should do. This is the whistle. Situations where those things are not on, I tell you, it tells you that a lot. I know you have. And finally,
I know you have a lot to say, but we are almost out of time. We need to go to our
state of
final
emergency
story.
In our security, in our economy, in our educational system. It's just not working. We need, like Nebuchadnezzar, to now start the process of trying to build and rebuild again. Good governance will be a very good cure at all levels. At all levels, good governance.
All right, thank you very much. Let's move to our final story for tonight. The Northern Governors Forum said it has agreed with service chiefs to adopt new methods to address the recent spate of kidnappings in the region. Chairman of the forum and Governor of Gumi State, Inouye Yahaya, made this known to journalists after the closed-door meeting on Thursday in Abuja. Mr. Yahaya said the meeting attended by the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Rabudu, and service chiefs reviewed the security situation and agreed to adopt alternative options to tackle it. The governor said the alternative options would be different from what they had been doing before. He said the governors were disposed to supporting both military and non-military options to address the security challenges. I still have with me to discuss this, J.D. Umeje. J.D., let me come to you. You know, many Nigerians have actually sought, or I beg your pardon, alternative approaches beyond the familiar kinetic and non-kinetic options. What is your perspective on these strategies?
Look, the common denominator here in all of this is governance. Good governance or bad governance. And you agree with me that, bad governance has been our identity for a long time. So it is bad governance that, give rise to, poverty. It's poverty that gives rise to, irritability in the people, and and the fact that some people who are now despondent, are susceptible to joining crimes and criminality. So you see, kinetic effort is just like dealing with the symptoms. You need to first of all, deal with the root causes before, if you are really serious about solving the problem. If you don't deal with the root causes, you just be treating the outward, symptoms. The military, for instance, are not actually trained, to deal with stuff like this. So we have to understand this. If we create a situation where we rely on the military for everything, every security challenges we have, you definitely will find a period when you will get to a stage where we are right now. So where we are now is for us to re-strategize, to think back. We need some level of introspection in our governance, structure to see, are we really on the right path? Is our criminal justice system effective? Is our wealth sharing formula effective? Our resources deployment effective? Are we on the right track in terms of how we relate to our citizens? So these things are the things that give rise to this level. So you see, when we talk about kinetic or no kinetic stuff, we're just dealing with the symptoms. I am looking at the root cause of all this problem we're having now, which is bad governance. Bad governance is the key to it. Corruption, bad governance, and ineptitude in our leaders. These are the issues we have to be dealing with.
We're almost out of time. Thank you very much for your contribution. Let me come to you. What is this prospect or potential outcome of this options, this new alternative? What do you think we can get out of it to solve this issue of insecurity? Briefly, sir, because
yes, Jacinta,
we are almost out of time.
I would tell you, I am not expecting much.
Wow.
And it has always been the same trajectory. There are a few low hangers. It will not cost you money. It will not cost you resources. If you can just adopt them, that is character, and that is living by examples. The northern governors have gathered themselves together, went to the battle. What should they be doing differently? The spate of security votes that they have, please make it open. Let's begin the situation of not like the legislators, some people call them legislators. Be very, very, very open. This is what I have. This is how we should go. One. Secondly, let's go back to the grassroots. Government, both at the state and at the federal, will not come down and resolve all these problems for you. You have to come back, the emirs, the ulamas, the teachers, the non-state actors who are putting themselves as being the people that can help and begin negotiation. We are seeing this more or less like a business. So let them come back.
Do you agree with the APC, the chairman of APC Forum, or I'm trying to remember them, but I don't know if you agree with them when they say the president should sack non-performing service chiefs, looking at how we don't even have enough personnel.
So sack non-performing chiefs, bring some other ones in, and then what happened? The same of same. Did that not happen during Buhari's time? Did that not happen during Jonathan's time? I am saying that if you keep on marching on a marshy land, the only thing that will happen to you is sink, and Nigeria is sinking. We should now begin a process. The emirs, the local governments that come once a while, share money, and then disappear into some other kind of COVID. We need to put ourselves together. And then, at the umbrella overall level, we need to begin to ask ourselves those basic questions. Dawn Commission, that's the development agenda for Southwest. Remember, and that reminds me of Arakunri, the late Arakunri Akeredolu. When this was on, and he was saying he was going to do the Amoteku, his counterparts in the north. So there is some element of learning from there. Can we now then open ourselves up and then begin to see our areas of comparative advantage and begin to do what needs to be done?
We need to go.
Pure and simple.
Yeah. I totally agree with you. Thank you very much for your contributions. I've been speaking with Akin Fatuge, CEO, chronicler and associate mediator communication consultant. And I also had Chidi Omeje, editor, Security Digest via Zoom. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your contributions so far.
Thank you so much, Jacinta.
And as well, thank you for being part of the show. Remember, you can follow the conversation on our social media platforms at TVC News NG on our website at tvcnews.tv. I am Jacinta Agochukwu. Until next week, it's goodbye.